88% of Americans believe divorce rates are climbing, yet the reality tells a very different story. Last year, the actual number of divorces hit a surprising 50-year low across the United States.
While most adults think the situation is worsening, they actually have the data completely backwards today. This historic decline is the first surprise in a much more complex narrative about modern love.
Rates are falling partly because marriages are getting stronger, but also because fewer people are marrying.
1/3 of millennials might never marry, a statistic that was once unthinkable in American society.
In 1950, 67% of adults were married, compared to just 46% who share that status today.
Two primary forces keep young people away from the altar: the pressure of money and deep-seated fear. 75% of young adults cite their personal finances as the #1 barrier to seeking commitment.
Beyond money, 45% of them admit that bad past breakups make them avoid new relationships entirely.
Many even end relationships early on purpose, just to dodge the possibility of eventual heartbreak.
If current trends hold, roughly 40% of first marriages will eventually end in a legal separation.
This figure is lower than assumed, and the trend line continues moving downward because of millennials. They are waiting longer to wed, with the average age now pushing into the late 20s.
This patience brings more education and financial stability, which significantly slashes the overall odds of divorce.
Even the COVID lockdowns reduced filings by 16%, forcing couples to face their issues without escape.
When these unions do fail, the reasons are often painfully ordinary rather than dramatically cinematic events. 73% of divorced couples cite a simple lack of commitment as the primary reason for failing. No sudden betrayal occurred. Instead, one partner quietly and gradually stopped investing in the shared relationship.
Rather than exploding, these marriages simply evaporated under the weight of constant, grinding daily conflict. While infidelity remains a top destroyer, it is actually not the leading cause for modern breakups.
This suggests that while faithfulness matters, consistent attention and effort might actually matter much more.
Inequality and a general lack of preparation also contribute to nearly half of all failed unions.
Most of these causes are quiet, ending not with a bang, but with a long exhale.
One critical factor is the age of the couple when they first decide to say, "I do."
Marrying before 18 carries a staggering 48% chance of divorce within the first 10 years alone. That is essentially a coin flip before someone is even old enough to rent a car.
Between ages 20 and 35, the failure rate remains high, at roughly 60% for couples.
However, waiting until after 25 cuts the risk of divorce by nearly a quarter for most.
Maturity brings clarity about personal identity and what a person actually needs from a partner. To put the scale in context, consider the duration of a typical American wedding reception. In those 5 hours, roughly 430 other marriages across the country have already reached their end. While Hollywood sells a romantic fantasy, reality is keeping a very different and sobering scoreboard. During the 3 minutes it takes to say vows, 3 other marriages are finalized in court. Divorce filings often surge right after the winter holidays, peaking around the middle of every January.
Forced family togetherness and rising credit card bills act as a final stress test for many.
Occupation also plays a role, as high-stress jobs with low pay often grind down a marriage.
Labor-intensive roles with brutal conditions leave little energy for partners to nurture their connection at home.
Conversely, professions like engineering and medicine show much lower divorce rates compared to the national average.
Understanding these patterns allows us to master human interaction and build stronger, more resilient, lasting bonds.